Welcome to episode 1. It's the second episode really, but the first episode was just a whole lot of building, no live commentary sort of deal. Did a comment over the recording afterwards, but if you just want to see how I built all this, go ahead and check it out. If that's not your sort of thing, then this is the episode where you want to start. So we built just a quick recap. We built this city here, and that city is to supply our primary industry, which is a vehicle factory. And in this episode, I'm gonna get the vehicle factory operational. So let's go ahead and get started on that. As you can see, we spent just over 1 million rubles setting all this up, which is a fair bit. Most of it was setting up the rail network, which they are quite expensive, which is why I did start with so much money. Other than that, all the settings, they're on the more difficult settings. We have fuel and energy requirements. We have, people, they get unhappy pretty easily. There's fires, that sort of deal. And the map we started on is the populated map. Rather than starting with a blank slate, figured try it out on the populated map. And even though we didn't start around one of those pre-built population centers, we will be building into them. It's very difficult to start around one of the population centers because those population centers are a fair distance from any of the borders, and whenever you first start out, you definitely want to be close to the border. And so I figured a good way to do that would be to set up a vehicle factory industry and get the starter city built. I have done it before where I've built a couple of industries out here and then brought population in, and it works, but it definitely takes all of the 10 million rubles to get that operational. So let's see, we got to fix this because we don't need students or passengers going anywhere. I'm guessing all of those passengers waiting there are wanting to go to a church because we cannot build a church. But other than that, we have everything that they need here. We've got kindergartens, we've got a school, we've got hospital, fire station, which we definitely need fire stations. What else? Shopping center, cinema. Yeah, shopping center, cinema, sports field, which we're probably going to need another one of those very shortly. We also have the city hall. I'm not going to click on that because every time I do, it automatically buys 120 immigrants, which is close to 200,000 rubles. So I'm not going to do that. Let's see. We got power up here. We do. Okay. So all that's ready to go. I guess now we just need to get a train rolling. And try doubling these up because these only carry 130. So we double that up, we get 260. I don't know if it slows them down any or not. I hope it doesn't, because that's the main selling point of these is their speed. So we'll get that one launched, copy that schedule over to these other two, close that out, and we'll be ready to launch those other two. Let's see here. Oh yeah, he's getting up there in speed. He's still getting up there. Full load of workers. Awesome. Awesome. It's going to come down here, make a loop. And looks like he'll be stopping for fuel up towards the factory. Let's go and launch the next one. Let's see. You getting up to 150? He is. Alright, awesome. And he just dropped everyone off. So let's launch the next one. And think we could probably do with a fourth one on here, honestly. He's not quite going to get a full load of workers. But the main thing why we want a fourth is for frequency, because these guys will only wait around on the platform for an hour. So let's watch this guy. Nice, he was only there for 30 minutes. Alright. Now he leaves, and I think this is our biggest gap right now between the first train and second train. So let's watch this guy. Yep. There's 30 minutes, still don't see the train coming. 40. Oh, and he's stopping for fuel. Yep, we're gonna lose this guy. We're gonna lose quite a few of them here. They're dropping off. So I think we do want a fourth. Oh, you know what? Forgot something very, very important. And that is, at the vehicle factory, I didn't actually set up any production. Oh. Copy. There we go. Alright. So, after this guy goes. Okay. Now the way this works, you get your resources, obviously, like any other industry that requires in order to produce a vehicle. It produces one vehicle at a time, and then it just continues on, and you, in order to produce a vehicle, you have to purchase the license to produce it. The licenses you can purchase are the licenses that they're available for any vehicles that are available to buy currently. And as new vehicles become available to buy, new licenses become available, and as the vehicles go out of production for purchase, the licenses will no longer be available. But if you purchase the license for a vehicle and then that vehicle goes out of production, meaning you can no longer purchase it, you can still produce that vehicle, which is a great way to maintain a supply of vehicles that you really like that you can't buy throughout the entire game. Okay, so the first vehicle we're going to go ahead and start purchasing or producing, it's going to be an open haul. We might as well go ahead and get the big one. We'll set that for production, and now we need to get resources in. I've yet to see a vehicle that requires electronics. Maybe later ones in the game will require that, but let's go ahead and start producing. And as you can see here, here's the progress bar. This one will take quite a while. We'll get back to that. Alright, this guy just went. Okay, so let's wait for it, wait for it. Alright, yeah, we can start this guy now. Alright. Back to the vehicle production line. And this is like a construction site. It has what's required to finish it right here. Got 525 workdays left, a bunch of steel, a little bit of plastic, fabric, mechanical components, and electronic components. Now the two resources the vehicles require the most of, besides manpower, is going to be steel and then mechanical components. Those are the two big ones. So as soon as you're able to provide those for yourself, this vehicle production line will become much more profitable. Usually the first thing I try to go for supplying it with is steel, because even though they require more steel than any other resource, you don't go through a whole lot of steel with the vehicle production line. A single steel mill at full production could probably support, I don't know, 4 vehicle factories easily and still have some left over. And so this open hole here, we're not going to be exporting it. These open holes that we're producing now, we're going to be using those for ourselves. And so yes, right now we have 0 income because we are importing everything and exporting nothing. But that will change shortly. As soon as we have as soon as we have a few open holes produced, we'll go ahead and set those up to start exporting another vehicle. And that vehicle that we're going to be exporting is where we're going to be making our money at. And we will be making a lot of money at that vehicle. And once it's time, I'll go over that a little more in depth. But for now, we pretty much have to just sit back and wait. And really, we need, really do need more engineers. So it would probably be very beneficial to set up a university long term, but short term, we can just buy some smart people. You getting a full load? Not quite. We do have quite a queue though. We are keeping the numbers up, which is good. Okay, where are you going? Oh, shoot. I've got no signals. I really screwed that up, didn't I? Okay, yeah, let's pause. Time to put in signals, because that... oh my god. I can't believe I forgot to put in signals. And we're just going to put in regular ones right now, and then go through a little later and put in some chains. Very important to get all these going the right direction. Yeah, that'll work there. Okay, bring it out to here. So yeah, that just ruined our spacing. All that careful timing and that to get them spaced right, and just ruined it all. Awesome. Yep. Yeah, with a game this involved, mistakes are inevitable, and really what it's more about is how quickly you identify those mistakes and how effectively you correct them. And it's definitely in the realm of possibility to make game-ending mistakes. Okay, this is gonna create a problem here. So for now, we're gonna do that signal like that, so nobody comes in here. Because eventually I'll want a freight train coming through here, and when I do, I don't want the passenger trains taking a shortcut. That way the freight train can come in here and sit and just wait until it's full, rather than running a half full or even an empty freight train, just burning diesel. And of course, you know, it's with the trains in this game, it is definitely Murphy's Law. Anything that they can do wrong, they will do wrong. Not go wrong, they will do it wrong, intentionally it seems. You really need to babysit the trains, which is unfortunate because they are so cool, but you get too many of them and it becomes mayhem rather quickly. Yep, so far so good. Okay. Now the only thing we're going to have running down here is probably a single freight train, at least for quite a while. So I will put a chain in there so that they don't back each other up. Okay. Good. That should be good. Can let it run some more. I'll go ahead and throw some chains in where I want them. And so basically the chain signals, the way they work is they will operate off of what's in front of them. So for instance right here, oh, I better keep that up. It just turned blue, right? These only the regular signals will only be red or green. When it's teal like this, it means this direction is closed off because the chain signal reads the signals that are in front of it instead of these regular signals just read the block in front of them, and the block being a section of track that is between the two signals. So there's a train in this block, so all of the signals leading into this block are red. Now this chain signal works by telling trains if they want to come, if a train comes up to this signal and it wants to go down this track, it'll stop here and wait until this turns green, and then it'll proceed forward. But if that train comes up to this signal and wants to go down this track, it'll let it pass right through rather than just holding up the entire line. Which is why whenever you're coming into a situation where you'll have multiple options for trains to go, you'll want a chain signal. Okay, it looks like the signals may have helped them space out again, which is good. Yeah, chain here. Chain here. Do we want one there? I don't think we do. Oh, whoa, whoa. I got these backwards. Yep, there we go. And let's throw a chain there. Chain there. And a chain there. And I think we're good. Oh yeah, see? This guy just used that loop. Okay. I think we're good on signals now. That was really bad. Now that I'm thinking about it, we've already got the track. We've already got the track laid to do vehicle exports, so. And I'm not too concerned about the freight train on its return trip coming down here and running through this terminal and then going around this loop coming in. What I'm worried about is if I open this track up, it coming down here, sitting and waiting until it's loaded, and then a bunch of the passenger trains trying to take this track as a shortcut back, even though it really isn't, and just getting stuck here and waiting. Yeah. Okay, let's pause right there. Because whenever you switch over production to something else, you lose any progress. And I don't want to sit here for another 540 work days waiting on the next one to be finished. So let's see what else. Oh, you know what else we do need? We do need fire trucks, because we don't have any fire trucks. And rather than purchasing them, we got a vehicle factory, might as well build them, even though it's efficiency-wise, it's definitely better just to build the profitable vehicle, sell it, and buy the vehicles that you want. But we're not entirely about efficiency. Yes, this thing here, it's pretty much worthless. It doesn't have enough firefighter capacity to really handle fires, whereas this one does. So we're going to go with that. Change production over here. 406 work days, not too bad. Alright, start it back up. So yeah, over here at the factory, this is your open storage for the factory. This is where it keeps all the steel. All the other materials, they're kept, you know, indoors. They're warehouse materials. But then over here, this is where your finished vehicles will sit. And it'll fill this area up, and then it'll fill this area up. And you can build additional storage for it, but there's really, I mean, if you're stacking up that many vehicles in your factory, then you'd need to increase your export capability. And with the train, I don't think we're going to have any issue exporting the amount of vehicles we'll need to. And another alternative, which is one that I like to use a lot, is building that extra storage, you know, down the street a ways or closer over here by a road depot and stuff. And I'll set up a truck or two just to haul vehicles there. That way I'll have vehicles for my own use while still maintaining vehicles to be sold. But yeah, in order to set these guys up with something, you need to change their workplace, set them to a road depot or a construction office, and then you can use them from there. And once you send them out, you will no longer get a full price for exporting them. At that point, it's just like you bought the vehicle, and you're going to get a diminished return if you sell it now, as opposed to if you load it. If we were to load a vehicle onto the flatbed and haul it to a storage or haul it to the export, it still counts as a brand new vehicle and we'll get the full export price. Now the downside that I found is, well, there's vehicles that can't be hauled by the smaller flatbeds, even though they'll have the weight capacity. For example, the T138, it's got a capacity to handle 12 tons worth of vehicles, but there's also a size factor that is taken into account, and there's no explanation exactly as to what it is, at least not that I've found. But for example, the vehicle we're going to be selling, we can haul 2 of them on this, but we can only haul 1 of them on the T138, and that particular vehicle weighs less than a ton. It's like 0.75 or 0.8 tons, and this truck here has a capacity of 13 tons. But because of the size factor, it can only carry 2. T138, even though it carries 12 tons, can only carry 1 of them at a time. And then there's other vehicles that their weight is under the weight capacity of the T138, but they won't fit on it, period. For example, another T138, you can't put a T138 on top of a T138, but you can put a T138 on top of this. And then there's other vehicles I've found that you can't, they just don't export for whatever reason. A good example would be something like these excavators. I've built those before, and even though you can load it onto the back of this, like from the construction office, you can put it on the back of there, it won't load it from the factory, and so there's no way to export it. And I've even tried it with trains. Trains won't put them on there, even though it could, as far as I can tell, it could definitely fit. These bulldozers here will work, but these excavators won't. And also, what I was really disappointed about was the harvesters. The harvesters will not fit. And I don't know if that's an intended mechanic, in which case, if it is, that sucks. Or if it's a bug, or if it's just hasn't been implemented yet, because this game is early access. Which I was playing this a lot before the vehicle update, which the game was awesome then, and when I was playing it, I was thinking the whole time, you know, it'd be really cool if we could, you know, make our own vehicles, make our own trains, which we can't make our own trains yet. I say yet, I don't know if that's going to happen. It'd be cool if it did, but there was 2 things I really wanted, and this update, which I had no idea was coming out, met one of those, and I didn't just meet it. I mean, it definitely surpassed anything I could have hoped for with it, and that was to make our own vehicles. The other thing I'd really want in this game is what any Soviet game needs. You gotta have some military parades. I mean, and that would be the other thing. You know, you could set up a vehicle factory or something of the likes, start cranking out your own T-72s and having them roll down Main Street. That would complete this game, in my opinion. Alright, so we got one fire truck built. Let's go ahead and send him off to work. Alright, great. And now that we've got a fire... Well, once that fire truck gets over here, we will be able to have 10 firefighters. Right now we can't have any, so if fire breaks out, there's nothing we can do except watch it burn. But once that fire truck gets over here, we'll start getting some people working there, and we will be somewhat protected. yeah. Still losing money, not exporting anything, just importing. But that's how it goes when you start. I could have set it up, and I have before, where I start out immediately with a steel mill and 2 vehicle factories. And it works, but it takes a long time to set that up. I mean, setting this up like it is took about 2 hours. Hold on a sec. Sorry about that. But yeah, as I was saying, setting this up like it is with the single industry, the single rather small city, and then the infrastructure to support them, that took about 2 hours. When I did set up 2 vehicle factories, like side by side, and a steel mill, I had to set up 2 large cities, larger than this, because that's, I mean, you can see the workers here in the vehicle production line. 500 workers, that's per shift. So really you need 1,500 workers to keep this fully operational. And because we're limited on engineers right now, our production percentage is really low, like 10%. So it was, and starting the game out like that, you need for 2 vehicle factories, that's, what is that, 600 engineers you need to keep them running. That's a lot of university educated workers, especially at the very beginning of the game. So in addition to that, I had to set up a 3rd fairly large city with a university. And at that point, with the 3 cities, I was then able to, and it took about 4 years in game before everything was smoothed out and operating smoothly. And I mean, I had trains going every which way, and that's when when I was doing that is when I first started experimenting with like the train roundabouts and stuff, and that's when I found they work great as long as they're big enough for the trains you're running on that track. Because a lot of them, I had these real tight, like perfect circle roundabouts, and they were great for a single one of these, these 2 cars. But I expanded these to be like this because I needed more people traveling, and they started getting hung up on there, and it was just a nightmare. Which, that's what taught me to start making these larger oval roundabouts. And these work great. Even with really long trains that hang out past the signals, these are big enough that it gives them room to keep moving for the most part. Now, this would start getting hung up if I was running full-length freight trains through here constantly. But on this entire line, we should never have a freight train coming through here, at least not right now. Maybe eventually, but probably not. Probably what I'll do is send this line further out and create a very large train junction to disperse freight trains. Yeah, so what was I needing? Okay, we got another fire truck sitting there. We got 2 in here, so 1 more and we should be good. We'll just fill this up, even though we don't need that many fire trucks here. That will give us a little surplus, so if we need to build another fire station, we can send a couple over there, and yeah, not have to come back to producing fire trucks for a while. After the fire trucks, we'll start making some ambulances, so let's go ahead and take a look at those and see what we've got. These I really like, just because they're the fastest, but when do you really get going 100 kilometers an hour, especially in an ambulance in this game? All your ambulance driving around is going to be mostly in the city. You got all these intersections. It's not going to be cranking up to full speed. Now this one, might as well go with it, and for this reason only. 16,811. Let's take a look at another variant of this particular vehicle model. We'll look at the covered hull. 16,819. $2,000 now. 2,000 rubles. 2,200 rubles. Yeah, so whenever you purchase a particular model license, all the other variants for that model become significantly cheaper. You get a discount because at that point you've already bought the license for that model. Now you've just got to purchase the rights to produce the other variants. Essentially, it takes into account, I guess, the tooling you'd need and all that. So you bought the license to that model. Now you just need to buy the particular tooling to produce the other variants. So we'll start cranking out some ambulances, and we might as well fill our hospital up. All 7 slots. And we do not need that many people working there. That is why we have a shortage of engineers, because we've got 150 doctors. We don't need that many. Let's go ahead and send this fire truck out. And we are not going to need a whole bunch of firefighters. Turn that down to 50 and that'll come up to 25. So that should come up to 20 then, I think. We'll see. Hopefully I remember to check back in on it. These ambulances are getting cranked out pretty fast. So I guess before we go to the university, we will actually start producing our moneymaker. And the moneymaker in this, it's a bit of a bug for the vehicle factory. A bug, not necessarily in the sense of a game bug, but let's go over here and purchase a license for dollars. It's a bug. And now this will work for all of the Western vehicles, with the exception, of course, of the harvesters, because those can't be exported. But these can be exported, so it works for those as well. These aren't that great of vehicles. They go out of production in 62. So, you know what? We'll go ahead and purchase those licenses, just for the sake of having them. Oh wow, 4 or 5, here comes 6. Yep, all these doctors coming to work as engineers now is definitely helping out the production. Alright, so check this out. In this game, the ruble is much stronger than the dollar, right? All the resources, you pay less rubles than you do dollars. The ruble has more buying power. And if you look at the vehicles, we could buy one of these for $1,440, meaning if we were to sell it to the West, we would get $1,440. Now here's the thing, if the ruble's stronger than the dollar in that case, we could expect what? I mean, maybe 1,000 rubles for it? So keep that in mind. 1,000 rubles, that's what we should get for a bug. Okay, we got a bunch of ambulances. Switch over production to the bug, that way I can finish making my point. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's put that last one in there. Okay. And just so we can show it off, we'll go ahead and set this guy up. Wait until loaded. Wait until unloaded. And he's already rocking and rolling. Yep. Well, he's headed over to the gas station. Gotta get a big gulp. Alright, now he's working. So let's get this guy down there. So remember, we should be expecting about 1,000 rubles for these. I don't think they show the export value on here. No, unfortunately. Oh, but you do see, brand new vehicle delivered to custom house to sell at full price. Alright, slow down. 1,000 rubles, that's what we should get for one of these. Here he comes. Oh, there's people walking in. Oh, there's one. But no, with the ruble being stronger than the dollar, we get much more rubles for a Western licensed vehicle selling to the East. Now, this works in reverse for Eastern vehicles and selling them to the West. You will get significantly fewer dollars than you would rubles if you were to produce an Eastern vehicle, such as this covered hull. If we were to export these covered hulls to the West, we would get far fewer dollars than we would if we were just to sell it to the East. So I guess it's simulating, you know, the lack of demand for Eastern vehicles in that case. So you can see here we got 2 bugs rolling out, and that's just under 5,000 rubles, whereas if we were to sell it to the West, just under $3,000, which is why this vehicle factory is potentially the biggest earner in the game, potentially, and it definitely competes with the oil refinery for sure. Especially after the problem with the oil refinery is after a few years the prices start dropping because you're able to produce so much fuel and bitumen. The prices on them start dropping so drastically. Granted, if you're importing your oil, the price of oil helps balance that. But if you're producing your own oil, and if you are producing your own oil, you're probably producing an excess, so you're probably exporting that, bringing the price of oil down. Which, if you bring the price of oil down, that alone will bring the price of fuel and bitumen down. But then if you're exporting a ton of fuel and bitumen as well, you're bringing the price down even more. So the oil refinery, even though it is definitely the biggest earner, it is kind of a self-defeating industry in the sense that it drives itself down in price. Hopefully there will be changes to that when they release the global events updates and things like that. I mean, if they don't, it's still not, you know, it's not broken. It still makes a ton of money, but not as much as it otherwise could. Whereas with these vehicles, I mean, I've gone through games and exported literally thousands of these, and the price has never gone down. Even with providing my own steel, the price didn't go down. Granted, I never provided myself any of these other resources, so the prices continued to rise on those, which may have helped that. I don't know. I mean, the most expensive things here are going to be the steel, mechanical components, and electronic components. Plastics, they're not too expensive. Fabric's cheap-ish, comparatively. Especially in the amount we use them in to produce these vehicles. Okay, I don't think we need a train just yet. I mean, we could, but it would just be sitting here for a long time waiting. What we do need is a university. So, alright. Before we do that, so you can tell how many vehicles you're selling, right here, vehicles exported. That's where your money's going to show. Now this will also include any vehicles that you sell. For instance, I go here and I sell this, it'll show up as a vehicle exported. Vehicles okay, yeah, that's the other thing. Vehicles imported here, this is where your license purchases are going to show up as well. Not just actual vehicles that you buy, but yeah, road vehicles you buy, trains you buy, or any licenses to produce vehicles. They'll show up here. Now you can't expand these like you can the resources, which is unfortunate, but at least it shows up. Alright, university. Let's take a look here. Where do I want to put the university? Show the wireframe. Yeah, we got a nice flat area down here. Throw it in down here. And if I did that, I could probably even get away with just running buses to it. Could put it in here. And the university I'm talking about is the technical university, which is rather rectangular. Why the technical university? So we can do research as well. Even though we won't be focusing on research until we've got our engineering shortage figured out. Yeah, it'll fit in there. Or even... oh yeah. I like that. Let's flatten this out some. Just a wee bit. Okay, let's squeeze it in. Don't want a walkway. Yeah, let's leave room for a walkway to pass through. And done. Alright, set up the road. And yes, I know, I'm auto building everything. That will change. I just like to get my vehicle factory going, my university going, and then we'll start focusing on improving our construction industry. Yep, that'll do it. Can we? Oh, come on. Get in there. Oh. There we go. Yes. One more. There we go. Now we're talking. Alright. I know they're not required, but they do come in handy. The university halls. Not so much handy now, but they definitely will be later in the game. Suppose we just throw in one for now. Let's get those built. And we've already got a shortage of university educated people, so no, that big one looks kind of weird there. Yep, that's good. Yeah. Excellent. Alright. Throw in the roads. No. Let's connect this road up before it bothers me. Alright, now is there a tiny little shanty we can throw in here? You will fit. Yep, that'll do. That'll do. Okay. Oh, shoot. You do reach. How about you? You don't. That is... suck. Oops. Close the factory. Alright, since you don't reach, you're... oh, wait. You do reach now. Okay, good. Great. Grand. Wonderful. Spectacular. Superb. All the goodness. Yeah, 10 doctors. That's... you know, that's We don't have any patience, so that is plenty. Firefighters. We are back up to 40. We do not need 40 firefighters. 20 will do. 20 will do just fine. Nice and quiet out here. Oh, yes. Hey, we already got somebody living there. Interesting. Not able to study. Why not? Holy sh... Yeah, we don't need to research right now. Oh, man. I do need to keep an eye on this. Close all these down. Alright, we still got engineers in there. And yes, I am sorry for keeping the window open, but we really want to keep an eye on this and make sure our university isn't stealing all of our engineers. And in fact, we may turn down the number of professors. And that way, once all these Gilligans become professors, we can turn it back up and we won't have to worry about having 0 engineers. Yes, so beautiful at night. The only good thing about the day-night cycle in the game is it does look pretty cool at night. It does consume more electricity, vehicles do move slower, and it is so freaking dark when you don't have a lit up city, you can't really see anything. And we have sunrise. And that's interesting. The sun is rising from the west. Right? Because we're at the corner of the eastern border. So this line runs all the way up there as the eastern border. And then in that corner starts the western border, which comes to another corner, and that's the corner of the western border, which runs along there. So that would kind of make it the southwest, I guess. The sun is rising in the southwest. That doesn't seem right. Science. Yep. I tried to set this up as electric rail, and I recorded it, and it was just a freaking disaster. I don't know what I was doing wrong. I've never had a problem with electric trains before, and I figured, you know, this is a rather short run, so I can just set these double tracks, these loops down here, you know, set all this up, and this whole double track up to here, this loop, this run, and this loop, set it all up as electric track, and then I can just run electric trains for the passengers, and then I won't have to worry about electric trains coming down here, because it's just regular concrete rail. But for whatever reason, whenever the electric train would come up to this station, it's like this side wasn't electrified. I'm not sure if that's because the electric rail connections, if a station is like an end point or a terminus for it, like if we were to yeah, let's say if we were to set one up here, you know, all this would be electrified, and then it would all be electrified up to here as well as up to here if this was electric track. And then from this point, since there's no rail running across bypassing that station, which when you set up the electric track, you can see there's the, what are they, catenaries, or whatever they are. Well, you can see them there now, before you even set it up. I mean, you got these running through the station. And does it not pass through? Do you need another electric station over here to charge this side of the track? I don't know. I'm guessing that's the case, but even still, even down here I was having issues when I set it up over here. So it was like every station they were having issues, and so I just gave up after spending, you know, like 5 million rubles trying to set up a freaking electric train line. Plus the trains themselves, they were over 200,000 rubles each. And whenever they got to here, it just became such a cluster that I had to sell them off, because I kept telling them to turn around, but they'd come up to the station and flip back and flip back. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Just going with diesel. Good old diesel. Yes. Let's take a look. Okay, we're down to 26 engineers. Still not too bad. You know, we're staying in it. Let's take a look at last month. Not a good, thing. Or comparison, because we had a lot of excess purchases that... Alright, this month just started, April. We have nothing exported yet. Expenses are going up rather quickly, and I'm guessing that's because of steel. Yep, steel, mechanical components, and then some of our citizen demands shortly behind that. But we do have a nice little buffer built up here of 21 bugs. Yes. Educate, people. Educate. Okay, we don't want to click on that. We'll click on this. Immigrants, 95. Yep. Okay, so we got 200. So we definitely do not have enough university-educated people to operate the vehicle line at full capacity even, let alone the university and the hospital. And I think that's it that they're required for. But they probably end up jumping into other jobs here and there too, so. Got some radio owners, not very many. Definitely not enough to justify building a radio station. That's pretty close to the number of university-educated workers, isn't it? Interesting. Uh-oh. Okay. We just didn't have enough employees in the city hall. We lost our access to statistics. Which that's only for this area. We don't lose access to the entire Republic's statistics. Which, as you can see, we got a whole hell of a lot of people sitting out there doing absolutely nothing. So it will definitely be in our best interest to, once we stabilize this section, definitely start expanding out towards them. Yeah. Which, with that in mind, that is quite a run. I don't want to auto buy a train track between here. What I was thinking is maybe setting up a steel mill, supplying it with people from here, lessee or whatever, however you pronounce it, and yeah, operating a steel mill off of them. And that still won't even. I still think we'll have excess workers at that point still, operating all the support infrastructure as well as a steel mill somewhere around here. That way we can provide ourselves with steel to our vehicle factory as well as to our railroad construction and other various construction processes. Because for construction, steel is, even though it's not the most expensive per unit, the amount of steel you use, and as expensive as it is per unit, it is definitely the biggest expense almost all the time for construction. For pretty much any sort of construction, be it except roads. You know, you use a little bit of steel if you're building the really nice, fancy sidewalked streets. But other than that, you don't use any steel. I don't think you use any for just plain asphalt roads. No, just gravel and asphalt. Which it's a good idea to always start with the mud roads, because they are free and instant build. Upgrade them to gravel, or you can start with gravel if you don't need a road there right now, because all it requires is some gravel and people or a bulldozer or excavator to flatten it out. Then you can just upgrade them to asphalt. And if you upgrade them to asphalt, it's not like completely rebuilding it. You're just laying asphalt on top of the gravel. Because if I was to build a brand new asphalt road right here, what would happen is I would have to bring gravel to it. It would be 2 phases, well, 3 phases. The first phase would be laying the gravel, which is the same as just building a gravel road. The second phase, which if I'm laying this over top of gravel road, we just skip the whole gravel laying phase and start at the asphalt or paving stage, where we start laying asphalt. And then the third and final phase is the roller comes out and flattens it all. And then of course we can upgrade to this, in which case we have to add a whole bunch of steel and electronic components to build these fancy streetlights. What's the advantage to that? Well, with the streetlights, your vehicles will move at the regular speed at night. And the biggest bonus to that is the walking speed, being at 150% of normal. Whereas asphalt road, 95, gravel road, 75, and mud road, 60. Whereas you have 2 footpath options. You got the mud footpath, just like a mud road, free, walking speed 60%. And yeah, cars can drive on these, construction vehicles and fire trucks can utilize footpaths to access construction sites and fires. Then you also have a gravel footpath, which is just like building a gravel road. Walking speed is up to 112% though. And you can just more or less ignore the vehicle speeds for this, because normal commuter vehicles and that don't utilize them, and the vehicles that do utilize them, you don't need to worry about their speed once they're on the footpath, because at that point they're probably pretty darn close to where they need to be. Okay. Let's build up this stockpile of vehicles more. And after we get, I don't know, maybe 30 some vehicles sitting in storage waiting to be exported, then we will switch over and start producing some of our own construction vehicles. And in order to fully utilize them, we are definitely going to want more construction offices than just this one. When I do my own construction or utilize the construction mechanic in the game, I like to have between 2 and 4 construction offices in any given area, because they do have a limited range for their auto search, but you can manually assign them pretty much all the way across the map. They will get it done, with the exception of delivering workers. Workers that are picked up by the construction office and driven to construction sites have a travel time just like regular commuters on your mass transit system. The other thing I'd also like to get into rather soon, not necessarily right now, but it's something that I found is definitely useful when you start having somewhat remote or small manpower requirements for industries, like wood cutting posts. Those work great for personal vehicle commuting. Power plants work great for that, because then you can put your really filthy coal power plant out in the middle of nowhere, so you don't have to worry about it, giving all your people black lung and You can just have people drive to work there. Because it only requires 20 workers per shift, and you only need a parking lot which is capable of... So, I mean, a single large parking lot is capable of providing enough parking spaces for people to work at the power plant. And also, personal vehicles go really fast. Some of them, you know, I say really fast. The way the speed limit speeds work in the game is, yeah, vehicles are rated for certain speeds, but just because a vehicle is only allowed to go 60, says it's only going to go 60 kilometers an hour, doesn't mean that's true. It will, especially if it's rolling downhill. A big old bus that's only supposed to go like 60 kilometers an hour going down this hill would probably get up to like 100 kilometers an hour. Going up this hill would probably be more like 50. So that's one thing. But the other thing is, alright, the main thing is that vehicle rated limit isn't a hard limit. Road speed is a hard limit though. So like, for instance, this gravel road only allows vehicles to travel at 60 kilometers an hour. So any vehicle that is only traveling on gravel roads that has the capability of easily traveling over 60 kilometers an hour is a waste, because it's a waste of power on it. It can't get up to its full potential. Whereas you get an asphalt road and they can start traveling at 110 kilometers an hour. And for the most part, the only vehicles that will consistently be able to do that are the personal vehicles and smaller vehicles. I know, like, around the mid-70s, you get a pretty decent semi that becomes available that can get up to 100 pretty easily. And it's also the biggest semi in the game, I believe. Can haul 4 of these babies. Oh, great. We're getting some spacing issues, it looks like. Turn that wireframe off. Are we? I mean, I think we're doing alright. Right? I think it was just a fluke. Yeah. Yeah, he's just getting a little close there. He's alright. Okay, yeah, we're up over 30. Let's... back to what I was doing, sorry. Easily distracted. Squirrel! Alright, yeah. Definitely want to level this out so I can get some more, construction offices up in here. Yep, that'll do. Construction office. One for you. And one for you. That gives us 3. Ooh, yeah, that'll be ugly. We can't put it there though. 1 for you. And then some road depots. Why not? Can always use parking lots. Due to infrastructure. We'll move that damn infrastructure. Gravel road. And I am gonna auto build gravel roads in here because one thing which I do not like is the inability of not only any vehicle, but especially construction vehicles, to pass a construction zone. Meaning, if we were to upgrade this gravel road here to be paved into asphalt, vehicles will no longer travel along here. They can't bypass it because there's no common sense to, you know, do half the road at a time and build up a queue of cars and let them go, and, you know, just do this, do like the right side of the road and then the left side over here, meanwhile allowing cars to bypass the construction. You know, that just makes way too much sense. No, it's probably just not implemented yet, honestly. I mean, it's a little thing, but It'd be one thing if it was just regular vehicles, and construction vehicles could still bypass it, but for even construction vehicles to not be allowed to drive over a construction zone is complete bullshit. Yeah. Always freaking close this out too. Alright. After this bug, we need to get some licenses. Ambulance, nope. 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 We really only need one of these. So, is it worth paying $24,000 for the license to build it? Absolutely not, but we're gonna do it anyway. Paver, we're gonna need a couple of them. Mixer, that one's expensive. Excavators, these are expensive as well. And we got 2. I'd like 2 more of the good ones, but we'll buy them both. Road crane, dozer, open holes, buy them all. Why not? We're just going all out. Spend it all, man. Spend it all. Oh, we got discounts on all these now. That's the good thing, I guess. You got a discount on any of these? Just the little microbus, which is perfect. Okay. Yep. What are we gonna build now? Dumpers. We need a lot of them. I really do like the T138, but I also like to have a little bit of diversity in my vehicles, because it looks a little ridiculous, because a lot of times I'll just go with the biggest vehicle, which in this case would be the T138, but for construction you need a lot of dump trucks, or at least I like to go with a lot of dump trucks. I'm talking like 4 per office, and having a whole lot of T138s rolling around looks a little ridiculous sometimes, because it's this giant pink dump truck. Screw it. We're gonna build a bunch of T138s. We will be the Pink Republic. I mean, it's not hot pink, it's more like a salmon, so it's not too bad, right? It's not pink, it's salmon. Oh my god. Alright. Now that we've gotten the whole pink salmon debate out of the way, take one final look here at the university. Still working-ish. Still sort of working. Oh, unable to get food. Are you not? Oh, jeez. That's not good. Crap. Throw that in there, I guess. Should fix that problem. It does. All will be well. No more deaths. Starvate. No more starving in the dorms. Okay. Kindergarten's full. Awesome. We definitely got a baby boom going. These houses will definitely start filling up. Yep, people are pissed they can't go to church, but you know what? Sorry, I'm not gonna spend all of my money building a rail line to the closest church right now. Yeah, they're gonna start filling up. Unable to enjoy culture. Pub or tap? Why the frick not? We have them. They are close. You can go get your freaking food and then go watch a movie or drink a beer. Come on, people. Yeah. School is very underutilized, which is okay. We don't have a whole lot of kids, but we have a whole shitload of babies. So we're gonna have, yeah, that school's gonna become crowded in the next couple of years. Well, probably the next year, because people age a whole heck of a lot faster than the game time moves. What is it? I think 1 month is it 2 years? Yeah, one game month I think is 2 years of their life. So we'll definitely start seeing our child age group being 7 to 21. That will definitely start going up fairly soon. Train depot's empty. Depot, depot. We got a dumper. We got our first friggin' dumper. One of many to come. Go to work. Let's go ahead and start spreading you guys out. Yeah, no need to go to the road depots, guys. Go to the construction office. You might as well head out to another one as well. You, sir, here. Roll out, dozers. Roll out. The frick? Oh, you gotta come all the way up here for fuel? Oh, my bad, man. Yeah, I really should set up a gas station down here. But we'll worry about that in the future when we actually have more than one semi exporting stuff. Oh, did our dumper make it? It made it. It's at the office. Okay. Excavator. Yeah, we're gonna need a couple more excavators. We might build the little ones. You know, we got 2 big ones. We're gonna do a couple of littler ones. What are you doing? Hold on, what? Oh, an ambulance. Oh yeah, ambulance and fire trucks have to come up here for fuel. Only got the one gas station. Really, all I need at this point, because I usually have a whole lot more vehicles on the road. Going pretty light with the vehicles on the road because I'm, you know, with the exception of a couple of dozers and excavators to start it out with, I'm planning on building all of the ones we need. And then so I think the way we'll do it is we got everything we need to keep ourselves going right now, right? We've got an ability to make money, which I think I will purchase a train just to sit in the depot until we're really starting to crank out the bugs and want to get money rolling. But also, we've got the ability to make smart people, which will keep us operating. And we've got the ability to make our own vehicles, which will fill up our construction offices, which will give us the ability to make our own stuff. Buildings, roads, electricity, things. But, of course, we still don't have any resources, which that will come soon. I think what we'll do is focus on filling up our construction offices with vehicles, switch back over to bug production, and whenever our stockpile of bugs drops too low, we'll switch back, build it up again, and switch back to construction vehicles, and just swap back and forth like that until I'm happy with what we got over here. And then once that's done, then we will start with the construction, which this area here looks like actually it'd be pretty good for gravel right here at the construction area. Offices. Yeah, construction office area. So that's the plan. And we got a second dumper ready to roll. And change parking lots. Don't worry. You may be sitting here for a year, but after that, I promise you will be busy. Very, very busy. Yes. Many, many roads and buildings to do. Let's take a quick look at no. Take a look here. What do we got? Cement. Oh, obviously gravel. We're gonna want to get that going. You know, we can import coal because none of these industries here require a whole lot of coal. Even the brick factory, which coal is the only resource it uses, it doesn't use a whole lot of coal. And granted, we can, the brick factory cranks out bricks way faster than you could ever use them. Unless you're literally building brick roads, which don't exist in this game. But even then, I mean, you crank out way more bricks than you need. So bricks are a really good thing to export, because they're always in excess. The problem with that is they aren't worth a whole lot, but they are worth more than the coal that it costs to input them, even if you're importing that coal. As long as you're importing that coal relatively close to the border, which we don't have to have the brick factory close to the border to import the coal at the border. We can set up a place to import coal and truck it over, although honestly it'd probably just be easier to set up a coal mining town. That is, if we got coal around here, which I'm pretty sure there's a little bit of coal up here. Not much. Not really worth sinking a few million rubles into to set up an efficient thing. That'd be more like you throw a coal mine in and have a couple microbuses drop people off there that you don't really want back. But no, we'll look into that next time, because setting up the construction industry it's a process all on its own, and I mean, it's a game all on its own. The entire construction mechanic of this game, it's just a small portion of this game, but on its own, it could be a game in itself. I mean, you got industry management, you got city building, and you've got construction. You got 3 different game concepts in one game, and they all work together and support each other and complement each other for the most part. I mean, you've also got logistics even. Granted, that tends to be a part of most all of the others, but it's there's a heavy focus on logistics in this game. Moving people, moving resources. Granted, it's not as big as it could be, especially on the people moving side, because you only have to move people once. You don't have to move them back. Whenever they want to go home, they just poof, they're home. So, yep, still cranking out some vehicles. Some dumpers, they take quite a while to make, but we'll get them built up, fill this area up, and then we will be back with another episode. This has been Wombadger and Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.